We had a couple people ask how exactly does the opt-in fit into the product funnel? So we are going to go through that with you right now. And it all starts with the Tasty Bite. You see, we're using a luncheon metaphor for the launch ladies and to also make it easier for you to remember. So the Tasty Bite is that one delectable, irresistible morsel that you cannot help but taste. And it solves one specific problem for your clients, not 17 problems, not click here to have me join you on Sundays to hang out with you, not click here to get access to 57 videos and 27 checklists. You want something that people can get, download, and consume in 5 minutes or less. Because obviously, if they didn't have a problem or an issue in their life, they wouldn't be talking to you, right? So they don't have more than 5 minutes to deal with you at this stage. So make it really quick and really snappy and something that they can consume really easily. And so after they've opted in for the Tasty Bite, the next step in the process is to offer them the appetizer. And the appetizer could also be called a tapas. It's a quick bite. It's just something small, something really inexpensive, but really worth it. What you're trying to do here is develop a relationship with your customers where they're a customer instead of a prospect. And even if they give you $1, it's like inviting the evil spirit into your house kind of thing. If they've given you $1, then that changes the whole relationship between the two of you. And so you want to get that $1 from them as quickly as possible. And in today's society, people are very used to trying to get things for cheap. Even if it leads to more expensive things later, that initial entry point needs to be somewhat low. And so how you do that is you offer your appetizer. It could be a report for $2. It could be a webinar that you normally sell for $97 that you're selling for $10. It could be a free strategy session. And you say, but wait a minute, you told me that you need me to give people to give me $1. What's up with that? Basically, you have to have a long application form for people to get the session, and you need to make it clear that everybody doesn't get the session, and that way at least they've done something to make it to the next step in the process and to make it that much closer in your funnel. And so how you deliver the appetizer is people will log in for your Tasty Bite, and the appetizer goes on the thank you page. And this is a great place to put a video explaining, a little tidbit of training, saying if you want more training, click here, get this appetizer, or you can just have an ebook for sale. Don't have your download on the page after they opt in. Leave it until they've had a chance to think about the appetizer. You could put the appetizer on your confirmation page, though. If you have a two-step process where you have a confirmed opt-in, you could do something like, hey, thank you for signing up. There's one more step. Confirm your email address. We'll be sending you the Tasty Bite. But in the meanwhile, check out this video that we have for you and, purchase the appetizer. So once people have purchased the appetizer, the next thing in the process is the main course. And what that is that's whatever it is you're mainly trying to sell. And I know a lot of people try to get everybody into the Tasty Bites and then wait till later to get them into the main course. But that potentially eliminates 25% of the people who could be buying your product, because you're eliminating a whole class of impulse shoppers who don't want to sit through your webinar. They just want to buy it from you right now. And so by offering it to them after they bought the appetizer, because they're impulsive shoppers, they will, then, go ahead and offer them the main course. People may click off at that point. That's okay too. We've got you covered. We'll talk about how that works a little later in the sequence. But so your main course is your main product. For coaches, it's probably your coaching program or your group coaching program. And so this part of it may actually be done over the phone instead of as a sales page. So then after the main course, we have dessert. And dessert is what some people call the upsell. A lot of times it's extra services or done for you services. So you can offer the coaching and then you can say, hey, but if you want to make sure this actually gets done, we have a virtual assistant service that will do this for you for $200 a month or whatever. So the dessert is just one extra chance. Can I help you more? Do you need help with this? How can we do more? So after people have gone through this process, then, they go into your nurture sequence, but this isn't necessarily linear. People can pop off at any point in the process, and this is what we call the wine. We get them drunk on the knowledge that you're going to be giving them, right? And so if people do the tasty bite and then they don't take you up on the appetizer, you throw them back into the drunken graveyard. You throw them back into the nurture sequence and send them more information relating to that opt-in. Here are 3 more tips. Oh, by the way, do you need help choosing your shopping cart? We do offer this report. Go buy it. So it's not totally salesy. It's kind of a mixture of sales and information, but the point, if they dropped off at appetizer, is to keep sending them back that way. Same thing, they buy the appetizer but don't do the main course. You can keep trying to sell them the main course. And dessert, same deal. Although if they bought all your upsells, then you're wanting to do testimonials and you're wanting to nurture them along and you're wanting to do a crazy, amazing job of delivering your services so they'll buy from you again. So that is the whole of the product funnel. And now we're going to talk about how that looks for coaches and heart-centered entrepreneurs, because I know a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes at me right now. See, I caught you. I did. See? And saying, but Meredith, I do not want people to feel like they're going on a tilt-a-whirl mousetrap ride when they buy something from me with 17,000 opt-ins that they can't get their product until they've run through this entire gauntlet of opportunities. And you can still have this system without actually having it feel like people are going from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. So this is how it would look for a service provider, let's say a copywriter. You would start out with your tasty bite, which is an opt-in. And basically you could say, here is a checklist of the 6 fatal mistakes people make on their sales pages. And people say, ooh, I don't want to make those mistakes. That sounds really painful. That sounds really awful. Sign me up. So then we go to the next thing, which is an appetizer, which is something low cost and problem specific. So maybe the next thing that you offer them is, okay, I don't normally do this, but the next 10 people who respond to this, I will do a $27 half-hour session where I will review your sales page with you, or your squeeze page, or any piece of copy that you want me to review, because it may be that they don't have the sales page written yet. And so they take you up on that, and you have your strategy session, and then they get on the phone with you. So that's the main course, right? And so then you sell them your services or your coaching program over the phone call. And so then the upsell, and it depends on what you've sold them. If you sold them done for you services, maybe you can sell them an extra package or a bigger package. Or if you're selling them coaching, perhaps you can partner with someone to sell them done for you services along with this. So that's how this would kind of look for a service funnel. Now, those of you who are, maybe your main thing isn't coaching, and maybe you don't sell things over the phone. So I'm going to kind of go through this really quickly. We don't have slides for it though, but I'm just going to talk about it, how this would work with a webinar group coaching model. So your Tasty Bite might still be a free opt-in or a checklist. You might bring people to an appetizer, which would be a low-cost webinar. So, you can attend our webinar for just $5. I think having people pay to attend the webinar increases actual attendance at the webinar as opposed to free, although test it with your own audience, because different audiences have different opinions about that. And so then on that webinar, you would send people to a main course, which would be your group coaching program, which is what you would be selling on the webinar itself. And so then you would have your upgrades, and then, of course, you would get people in different places in the nurture sequence. The issue with the webinar thing a lot of times is you only have one webinar. And what I've seen that seems to work is having the same webinar over and over and over again. And there are lots of ways you can do that. You can do that sort of automatically through something called Evergreen Leads or Hangout plugin, which is what we use to deliver our Hangouts, also has an Evergreen option. You can just do the webinar every Tuesday night and continually selling people into your program. But you don't want people to have to wait for a month, I guess is what I'm saying. You want to move people along in your funnel as quickly as possible. So that's how it would kind of work for a service funnel. And another option is to, in between the appetizer and the main course, perhaps give your strategy session people some homework to watch one of your webinars, so that they can learn a little bit more about you and a little bit more about what you're going to sell in advance, so that you don't have to waste as much time on the strategy session talking about your philosophy and what you do and all of that. You've already established yourself as an expert. They've already watched the webinar. They're ready to go, so that when you do the coaching program call with them, they're set and they're ready to work with you. So that is the service funnel in a nutshell.